Hello, my beautiful Nara. Hello, my beautiful Adela. Okay, this one's called Disney's Winnie the Pooh Classic Treasury, with favourite stories and rhythms from 100 Acre Wood, whatever that means. But anyway, it must be part of Winnie the Pooh's favourite acre wood. Anyway, so this is 80th years of adventures celebrating. I guess that's how long Winnie the Pooh has been around for. Okay, for anybody that doesn't know, this here is called the yellow page. This book's heavy. This is the yellow page right here. This is for yellow page people. Okay, we always have some kind of... Okay, Classic Treasury. First published in Australia, I can even see 2007. It's not that old after all, unless you're born in 2006, then it is very old. Okay, rightio, here we go. Think, 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 Winnie the Pooh insisted to himself as he sat on the log at the thoughtful spot. I know there's something happening this morning, but I can't remember what it is. But no matter how many times he tapped his head and scrunched up his forehead, Pooh could not remember what it was that he had forgotten. Perhaps a little smackerel of something would help, he thought, helping himself to a jar of honey he had brought along. When he had finished, his tummy was full, but his memory was still empty. Oh, brother, he said, walking back to his cosy home inside the tree, sometimes being a bear of very little brain can be very troublesome indeed. Pooh approached his front door and to his surprise found all his friends waiting outside for him. Hello, said Pooh. I'm very happy to see you, but I'm not sure why I am seeing you. Silly old bear, laughed Christopher Robin. Don't you remember? You invited us over for breakfast. That's it, Pooh cried. You are the something I forgot. Really, Pooh, said Rabbit. That memory of yours is getting worse and worse. I have a good memory, offered Eeyore, but all my memories are bad ones. No, not that I mind. It's to be expected, really. My memory does seem to be getting stuck a lot lately, Pooh admitted. He went to the cupboard and took out a large jar of honey for everyone to share. Maybe your memory's getting stuck on all the honey in your tummy, suggested Tigger. But don't worry, pal. I'll bounce it loose. He flung his arms around Pooh and catapulted them both towards the ceiling. Bong, bong, bong. After several bounces, Tigger put Pooh down. There you go, buddy bear. Now, do you remember anything? I think I am remembering that bouncing with a stomach full of honey gives me a tummy ache. Poor Pooh replied, looking at Oh my goodness. Everyone knows that eating vegetables is the best way to keep your mind in good working order, said Rabbit authoritatively. He dipped a large carrot in honey and passed it to Pooh. Eat up, he commanded. Pooh ate honey-covered carrot after honey-covered carrot, but his memory didn't seem to be working any better than it had before. Maybe I need to eat a few more bushels, suggested Pooh. He knew very well that more carrots weren't going to help, but he wasn't going to pass up the opportunity to eat honey all day long. All day long, all day long. Suddenly, Roo began to jump up and down excitedly. I have an idea. Why don't you stand on your head so that all the memories will come to the top? That's coming from an animal from down under. It is not an easy thing to get a very rotund bear to balance on his head, and so it was with Pooh. "Excuse me," said Pooh, after he had toppled over for the third time, "but this feels more like falling than remembering." "Pooh," said Piglet, "you know how you do stoutness exercises. Well, maybe you should do some memory exercises too." "That's it," cried Christopher Robin. "We can exercise Pooh's memory by taking a stroll down memory lane. A trip down memory lane is like taking an exploration through the special memories in your mind. We'll stop at each of the places we've all had adventures together. And when Pooh starts remembering all the fun we've had, he'll surely want to remember even more. His memory will be in tip-top shape in no time." So the friends set out together on memory lane, which everyone agrees is the nicest way to get from one end of the 100-acre wood to the other and back again. The first stop on memory lane was Piglet's house. Pooh liked living so very close to Piglet. He liked looking out of his door and seeing Piglet's little pink shirts flapping on the clothesline in the breeze. He liked knowing that if one of them was feeling lonely, he could stroll over to the other's house for a visit. He liked having very small neighbours, very small neighbours with him from trying to new things on helping his friends. "Pooh," said Piglet. Must be the dream, it's written funny. "Pooh," said Piglet. "Oh, goodness me, how do you end up in that tree?" "The wind left me all in a tangle. Now my scarf's left me to dangle." "Don't worry, Pooh. Hold to me," said Piglet a bit anxiously. He rescued Pooh where he was stranded, and to the ground they gently landed. Piglet sighed a happy Pooh. "It's grand to have a friend like you." And on that night, Pooh and Piglet had a sleepover. Piglet was reminded how grand it was to have a friend like Pooh too. Oh, here we go. "Comfortable, Piglet?" Pooh asked. He was tucking his friend into a drawer which he had made up into a little bed just the right size for Piglet. "Oh, yes, Pooh. Thank you ever so much," Piglet replied. The two friends were having best friends sleepover, which they guessed had to involve sleeping over something. Piglet was sleeping over the other drawer, but Pooh hadn't decided what he should be sleeping over yet. They looked high and low, but in the end, they decided that the best thing for Pooh to sleep over was his own comfortable mattress. "Well, good night, Piglet," said Pooh, blowing out the candle and climbing into the bed. "Good night, Pooh Bear," Piglet replied. As he lay in the darkness, Pooh's room, Piglet thought what a wonderful best friend sleepover it had been so far. First, they had enjoyed a before bedtime snack. Then they had put on their pyjamas. Then they had made up a bedtime story together. Of course, it was always fun spending time with Pooh. But there is something about being at Pooh's house for bedtime that is so very different from being at my own, thought Piglet. Then, as Piglet lay there with his eyes wide open, it occurred to him that the darkness at Pooh's house was much, much darker than the darkness in his own house. Oh, look at Piglet there. I should have done a zoom in for that. "Pooh," Piglet called out softly, "are you still awake?" Piglet wanted to ask if it was always so dark in Pooh's room at night, but when Pooh did not answer, Piglet realised that his friend must have dozed off. So Piglet rolled over and pulled the covers. Then he closed his eyes tight and tried to fall asleep, but nothing happened. "Pooh, Pooh Bear," Piglet called out. a little louder this time. He didn't want to wake Pooh up, but Piglet wondered if perhaps Pooh was awake and just had not heard him the last time. Still there was no answer. It was just then the quiet was broken by a peculiar noise. Piglet's eyes shot open as the sound reached his ears, and he sat up, listening intently. At first the noise was a soft, low rumbling, curiously similar to that sound of sleeping Pooh Bear snoring. But as Piglet listened, the sound grew louder and louder and then louder and louder, over and over again, as the sound of approaching Heffalump. Piglet wondered, "Pooh! Oh dear, Pooh!" Piglet shouted, jumping out of the drawer and running to Pooh's bedside. He shook Pooh as he shouted, "Wake up! Wake up! Oh, please, Pooh!" Well, I guess that's the Heffalump. That's yep. Pooh said drowsily, sitting up. He climbed out of bed, lit the candle to find Piglet hiding under the covers. "Why, Piglet," said Pooh, "what's the matter?" "It's that terrible noise, Pooh," Piglet stammered. Then he realized that the noise had stopped. "That's funny," said Piglet. "It stopped as soon as you woke up, Pooh." Yawned. "Oh, Pooh, I suppose that means we can go back to sleep." Piglet wasn't so sure. He didn't want to hurt Pooh's feelings, but he didn't think he could fall asleep in Pooh's room. "Pooh Bear," said Piglet timidly, "I don't mean to be a bad best friend. Do you think we might, have the rest of our best friends sleep over some other night? I'm just not used to sleeping anywhere but my own house." Pooh sat down on the bed and put his arm around Piglet. "I understand, Piglet," he said. "We can have the rest of our best friends sleep over any time you like." Pooh helped Piglet gather his things. Then, hand in hand, they walked with a short walk through the 100-acre wood to Piglet's house. "Here you are, Piglet," Pooh said as they entered. "Home, sweet home." "Oh, thank you, Pooh," Piglet replied. "Thank you for understanding and for walking me home. I suppose you'll need to get home to bed now?" Pooh considered the question. "That does sound like the thing to do," he said, eyeing a comfortable chair. "But first I might sit down for a little rest." By the time Piglet came back from putting away his things, Pooh was fast asleep in the chair. He was making a soft, low, rumbling sound. But in the comfort of Piglet's own house, the noise did not strike him as anything other than the sound of Pooh Bear snoring. Piglet covered Pooh with a small blanket and slipped a pillow under Pooh's head. "Sweet dreams, Pooh Bear," he whispered. Then Piglet climbed into his bed and quickly drifted off to sleep. Cheered by the thought that he and Pooh were having their best friends sleepover. We'll stop that one there. It goes on a bit further, but we'll make that another read.